Peace. What's going on? What's good with everyone? It is a beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon. Although this daylight savings time is kind of kicking my butt a little bit. I didn't realize the time had switched until like a little bit later in the day. I was just like, what time? Wait, what time is it now? Oh, we sprung forward. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. But yeah, so I'm kind of getting adjusted to this time. I hope everybody else is getting adjusted as well. So I'm just going to wait just a second to give some people a time to join in, and let's get to it. Let's start talking about snagging that Scorpio. That's Scorpio. That's why I have on my Afro-Cuban All-Stars playing in the background for Team Scorpio. If you know anything about Scorpios, you know that Scorpios are very transformative creatures. Scorpios, there's no such thing as the word taboo to a Scorpio. No, you don't say taboo to a Scorpio unless it's something that you're intentionally wanting them to do, because they're going to be like, taboo? Oh, okay, let me go check that out. So, so Team Scorpio. So if there's somebody that you're interested in, it could be their sun, moon, or rising sign. It could be Scorpio. This is just some advice as I've been going through. I started out with Sagittarius, with the fire signs. I started out with Sag and Leo and Aries. And then I started with the water signs. Peace, Goddess. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. And then I went over to water signs of where I am right now. So last night I did Pisces. And today is all about Team Scorpio. So I'm going to give you guys, and I have to plug while I'm on here. Just want to plug in this fabulous. Let me give you an up close and personal view of some of my new stuff that I've been working on with Oshun's Garden. This is one of the pieces that I is inspired by cosplay. So if anybody knows anything about cosplay and about the movement that's going on right now with a lot of black cosplayers who are kind of just stepping out and doing something different. So it's inspired by comics, black girls and black guys that like comics, black girls and black guys that like fantasy, sci-fi. I'm into that. And so instead of being, just being like, oh, well, I'm not going to pay attention to that, I'm just pulling from everything that's inside of me. And this is from Alice in Wonderland. This is the White Rabbit. So that's that. So let's get into it. I think I've bantered enough to give people enough time to join in, because I told you guys at 6 o'clock. Look at that. It's 6 o'clock. Let's get it. All right. So Scorpio. So when you're interested, if there's someone that you're interested in that is a Scorpio, the first bit of advice that I can give you in pursuing, attracting, and keeping that Scorpio is to be open to experimentation, new foods, new cultures, new information, new philosophies, new practices. Scorpio is ruled by the 8th house, which is the house of transformation. It can mean literally life and death, but it also means just transformative experiences, things that change you to the point of and whenever you come into a new level in your consciousness, you're having to shed off some things. So technically that's the old you dying and the new you being reborn. So we're talking about not just literal life and death, but we're talking about major transformation in life. So with Scorpio, because that is the house that Scorpio is ruled by, that house, the 8th house, that says a lot about Scorpio people. Scorpio people, there's no such thing, like I said earlier, no such thing as taboo with Scorpio. Don't even use that word, because with Scorpio, Scorpio wants to experience the zest of life. You know what I'm saying? They want to experience it all. That's how they kind of grow and get ready to go into the next level of whatever it is that they're getting ready to transform into is through experience. Kind of like Sagittarius. Sagittarius has that element as well. Sagittarius learns from experience, and Scorpio does as well. But it transforms in that learning, in that knowledge. It's not just like a bank, whereas Sagittarius is kind of like a bank of experiences. No, Scorpio actually transforms. That's how they kind of, just shed layers and begin new projects and begin new ideas and new phases in their life is through experience. So with your Scorpio, never use the word taboo unless you want them to do that thing. So within the confines of your relationship, nothing should be taboo. You should keep it to a level of where, that your Scorpio mate is able to talk to you about whatever it is that they want to try that's new, whatever it is that they want to do that's new. Maybe, your Scorpio mate has been hinting on, maybe picking up a second language or third language or something like that. When you're with the Scorpio, you can't be that person that says, oh, what does he or she want to do this month? It's always something. What is it? What do they want to do now? What do they want to? You can't be that way with the Scorpio. You have to be understanding and along for that ride within the confines of your relationship. So definitely be open to experimentation. Be open. Remain open. Not just at the beginning of the relationship when you're trying to get that Scorpio's attention, but even once you have that Scorpio. Remain open. Don't ever close up. Don't ever go revert back to the point where your Scorpio has to hold and hide all these secret thoughts and fantasies and wants and all this kind of stuff, and they can't share it with you. And then what ends up happening? Sure enough, the universe, somebody comes along that they can share all of those things with. And you look around, it's like, where did what happened to my Scorpio? Oh, you didn't love me. You never loved me. No, it's not that. But it was the fact that you weren't allowing them to do the transformative things that's necessary for Scorpio to be happy. Again, we're talking about lifelong commitments. We're not just talking about crash and burn relationships. We're talking about being with someone for forever, for the long haul. So yeah, be open to experimentation. If they want to learn a new language, if they want to, start cooking this month, start cooking Cuban food. Like, baby, Cuban food, where did this come from? I'm just putting things out there. If they start a yoga journey, if they start, if they want to, whatever it is that they want to do, just be a supportive spouse. All right, the next thing I have is to encourage your Scorpio throughout their many metamorphoses. I want you to think of your Scorpio as a butterfly. Whereas with physical butterflies, they may only go through one metamorphosis. A Scorpio is constantly going through metamorphosis. So they're building a chrysalis sometimes. With a butterfly, it starts off as a caterpillar, and then it builds the chrysalis around itself. So that's that level of isolation. Sometimes they may go within for a little while, but when they come out, they're coming out as something new. So encourage your Scorpio throughout the many metamorphoses that they're going to go through. That's if your Scorpio has found themselves and is open and honest enough with themselves to tell you about those feelings and desires to transform. Now, you may meet somebody that's a Scorpio that may, not be as free and as open to say, I kind of want to try this, because maybe they've been discouraged so many times in past relationships. Maybe they've been discouraged by their families. Maybe they've been discouraged by, teachers, professors, whoever, people of influence in their lives. What you can do is to help your Scorpio mate know that it's okay. Let them know that it's okay to be honest about their feelings. And if there's something that they want to do, if there's a transformation that they want to go through, that you will fully support them in that, and that you will be there for them throughout. And you will be there. And be a cushion and support system to show them your loyalty in the relationship. So be a cushion. That's gotta be difficult. And then for Scorpio to be a water sign, which is already feeling so many different levels of emotion. So not just from themselves, but from others. And then to add on top of that, remember the constant transformation, or the desire, even if it's never expressed to you. So even if you know Scorpios and you like, they don't do that, they don't change, they pretty, that's on the surface. We're not talking about, when you're talking about on the surface, they may put on a facade. But deep down inside, that need or that want to transform is pretty natural for all Scorpios. So be that mate and that partner to let your Scorpio know that it is safe, and that you're going to be there with them and for them throughout their metamorphosis. All right. The third thing that I have to snagging and attracting and snagging and holding on to your Scorpio of interest is to understand their need to walk completely away from relationships and partnerships that damage them without judgment. Okay? Scorpios are notorious for cutting people off. And I'm talking about without warning. I'm talking about without really an explanation of much of why. They don't, they're notorious for that. Scorpios are notorious for detaching like that. So understand their need to detach from those situations without judging them. So maybe you're a Scorpio, quit their job. Maybe your Scorpio quit their job and you just, oh my gosh, that's your livelihood. Or maybe they took a pay cut. Maybe they were working one job, but they weren't happy. And they took a pay cut to work another job. And you're just like, oh, that's crazy. And you guys have maybe had some type of point of contention in your relationship. Or maybe there's friction there because of the fact that your Scorpio just walked completely away from something. Or maybe it's someone. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a parent, one of their parents. Maybe it's something that you just don't get. Like, well, how could you walk away from this person? How could you just, So instead of being judgmental when your Scorpio walks away from something or detaches from something, try understanding. Try putting yourself in their situation now that you know the science and now that you understand the science of how Scorpios think. Try putting yourself in that situation and finding some understanding so you guys can have some common ground. So yeah, save the judgment. If they walk away from something, remember they are water signs. They are water signs. So if something is bothering them, it's going to be amplified times 1,000 to a water sign, whatever it is. So if they need to detach for their health, allow them to do that. It's not your place to judge them. What it is your place to do is, as a supportive spouse, is to support their decisions. So instead of arguing about it, find the middle ground, find the common ground, and go from there. The next thing that I have, the two next things that I have coming up are going to be piggybacking off of Pisces, because again, water signs, they share similar traits. Just like with fire signs, there were a couple that I repeated for all three signs actually. So this one is going to be a recurring one from Pisces, and that is to be a thermostat in your relationship with your Scorpio. Be a thermostat. So again, because they are water signs, they feel so many different emotions, not just from internal, but external emotions as well. They kind of it's like a sponge effect. So it's not that they're trying to feel them, it's just natural. So the best thing that you can do to cut down on confusion and arguments and all this at home is to be a thermostat. Try to be as consistent and constant in your own personal emotions as you can. Because there are going to be times where, when they come home, they're looking for sanctuary from everything that they've been feeling out in the world. So let your home, let you all's home space be a place of sanctuary where Scorpio can come in and feel safe and feel and know that you are going to constantly be set. Like I gave the example yesterday of being set to 73 degrees. You're always set to 73. Your Scorpio comes home in a funk, give them some space. Don't be in their face, asking constantly, what's wrong? What's this? What's that? You don't have to do that. With water signs, sometimes they just need time out alone. So just be understanding of that. And then the next thing that is a carryover from Pisces is to keep your word. Do not make promises that you cannot keep. Do not make promises that you cannot keep or you don't intend on keeping. Don't tell a Scorpio you love them if you do not. Don't tell anybody that, but especially not a Scorpio. Because you do not want to scorn a Scorpio. Remember, Scorpion, okay? Okay, so they're very passionate, and that passion could be either in I passionately love you or I passionately hate you. So so make sure that when you're in your relationship with your Scorpio, that you try to be as solid as you possibly can. And if there's something that you can't do, then don't promise it. Don't promise it to a Scorpio. Don't promise them the moon and you can't deliver that. Just keep your word. They're big. Scorpios are also big on trust. They are big on loyalty as well. Next, I have understand their silence. Understand their silence and decode the problem versus constant anger or frustration with their silence. So instead of getting mad at your Scorpio for giving you the silent treatment, because Scorpios are also notorious for the silent treatment when they are mad at you. They are notorious for the silent treatment when they are mad at you. So that's the time for you, okay? Remember, somebody's got to be the thermostat. Somebody has to be the thermostat. And we're talking about making it last forever. We're talking about love is not a fantasy. First of all, let's get that idea out of our heads right now. Love is not this fantasy thing like, oh, I fell in love at first sight and he rubs my back and she fixes every meal for me. Love is, you got to understand, this is, human beings are individuals. So it's a matter of you figuring out ways to deal with every shade and every color that person brings to the table, because apparently if you're with them, they're bringing some good colors, some bright colors. They're bringing some things into your life that you really do like. Now, as far as the things that you don't like, okay, that's where the maturity kicks in, to where either you or they or both, hopefully both, will come to the point of saying, okay, well, let's figure this thing out. Let's figure out how to navigate, our differences. So with that being said, understanding their silence, if they're giving you the silent treatment, and I'm not saying necessarily that that's a fair thing to do, but I mean, in the event that it does happen, because we all have our times. We all have our times when we get upset, we do different things, we react in different ways. And so with Scorpio, the silent treatment is just one of those things you can expect when they're not too happy with you. So silence is language. Understand that. Instead of ignoring their silence, which will only make the problem worse, instead of ignoring it as in, I'm not dealing with you, I don't have time for this, why you do. Instead of that, think on what's causing the silence. Think on what the issue is. That's why I said decode the problem. So it's going to take some critical thinking skills there. I mean, if it's something that you did, or they had, you know, a really important family gathering, and you knew it was important to them, and you decided not to come. And when you get home, you're getting the silent treatment. Let's think about it. Why would you be getting the silent treatment? Because you didn't come to the event. You didn't come to the family event, and you knew they wanted you there. So fix those issues. Use the silence as language, and understand and decode it so that you can fix the issue. Instead of the other option, which is being constantly angry about it, getting frustrated, you know, with the silence. So, yeah, definitely that. Understand their silence. Next, I have, and this is a carryover from Pisces as well. Understand when and how to give them space. Understand when and how to give your Scorpio mate space. Scorpios need space sometimes. And detaching is not necessarily the same thing. Detaching altogether from something is different from saying, baby, I just, you know, just give me some time to get through, you know, it's just one of them days, like Monica, you know. That does not mean, just because your Scorpio is saying that I need space, that doesn't mean that they are detaching. Don't confuse detachment from space, okay? If they're with you, then apparently, you know, they want to be there. They love you. They have some type of a connection with you. So don't smother. You can't smother a Scorpio. You can't smother them. So, and that's if you're, you know, in a long-term relationship, and even if you're trying to attract a Scorpio. I mean, the idea of let's say you guys are just in the stage of where you're starting to talk on the phone a little bit, you know, kind of feeling each other out. What you don't want to do is to smother them in the beginning. Really ever, but especially not in the beginning. So if they don't answer the phone, WID, texting them over and over and over and over and over again, you know, or constant calling, allow them to be the one to, you know, let you know when they're ready to pick up, you know, the communication between you guys, and just go from there. And don't take their distance personal. Sometimes they just need space. Sometimes they just need space for whatever reason, you know. So just honor that. So understand when and how to give them space. If you're, you know, wanting to have that relationship with them, but you feel like, okay, well, you know, I call him or her and I can't get them on the phone sometimes. Don't take it personally. Just give them space. Just give them space. And when they call you or they text you, and they pick up, because the Scorpios are great for picking up like it's nothing. You know, like we're going to pick up where we left off, and it's still, you know, all good. And if you can't deal with that, again, that's compatibility. That goes back to compatibility. If you're not compatible with that, then that may not be the person for you. Okay. So, and the last thing that I have for us to kind of think about and to use, and again, this is about application to apply to our relationships with Scorpio, with a Scorpio mate, is to help them to focus their intensity and passion towards progression. One of the blessings about Scorpio is the fact that they're so passionate and they're so intense. You know what I'm saying? They're very, very, very intense people, because that's what drives that transformation. That's what drives the transformation. So if they begin a health journey, it's amazing to watch their intensity, to see how much they grow and how much they transform. If they're whatever journey that they're on, Scorpios are very intense and they are very driven and dedicated people. But help them, because an immature aspect of Scorpio would be to use that intensity towards things that do not benefit them, whether it is, sexual behavior that's not controlled, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of wild and different things like that. Whatever it is, whatever, it can turn to obsession and like overeating that could turn to obesity. So they love things when they really are tuned into something, it can become an obsession. So you as the Scorpio mate can be there to just be a balancing piece for them. So to make sure that it does not turn into something that is unhealthy for them. So taking that intensity and that passion and continuing just to, kind of turn them in a good and positive direction for their lives. Something that is going to progress them, whether it be personally or financially or business or anything, career, home, whatever it is. So helping them, being that component to help them to focus their intensity so that it does not become something that is unhealthy. So that is the last bit that I had. I hope that this information helps you in your relationships and your pursuit of that Scorpio man or woman out there. Scorpios are amazing people. Scorpio people are amazing people, and that transformative energy, oh my goodness, is so inspiring to watch. Scorpio just in their prime, just doing it, transforming, being unafraid. So if you know a Scorpio and you know things that they keep inside, things that they may be holding on to, help them to come out of the shell a little bit. That can be something to connect you to that person that you're attracted to. So maybe really finding out more about them internally and pulling that out so they can begin that transformative process, because they have the intensity and they have the power inside of them. But if they haven't realized it, that can be, kind of detrimental to them, and that can lead to different things like depression and anxiety and all these other issues. So, definitely do that. And I will talk to you guys a little bit later on. I will be following up with Cancer. Cancer will be next. And I look forward to talking to you guys. All right. Peace.